Hey everybody, how's it going? So, I wanted to make sure I get this full video because I know how Hasan people are. They're gonna be like, you took him out of context, you took him out of context. Nah, here's the full thing here of him talking about Hila. This is crazy. So for those who don't know, Hasan Piker literally just called for somebody to end Hila Klein. Straight up. Let's watch it together.
And every type of armed resistance against both the settlers and also the Israeli occupying force in the West Bank. Doesn't matter if it's your favorite podcasters like Wife that participate in these raids.
Wow. I wonder how many podcasters have wives that participated in raids. You know, like, what are they looking for in raids again? Oh, yeah, terrorists, Hamas specifically. But yeah, I mean, what are they doing? Going into Palestinian people's homes and looking for Palestinian people? That wouldn't even make sense. Obviously, you're going to find Palestinian people in their own homes, right?
The violence that the Palestinians engage in an act of resistance against this illegal occupying force is literally legal, definitionally legal. Okay?
No, it's not. Why would somebody who's fighting the resistance be allowed to come all the way to America and, in your own words, harm Hila Klein? Hila or Hila? I just always said Hila because that's what it sounds like they say to me, but it does start with an H, so there's that. Anyway, how in the world could you justify that? You're like, I don't care if it's your favorite podcaster's wife who engaged in the raids. It is legal for you to attack her. No. Incorrect. You should be sitting in jail for advocating for that kind of violence to millions of people.
Just the truth. And
it's not the truth.
Every type of armed resistance against both the settlers.
Why is this loser wearing a coat in his house? Can he not afford heating? I guess in California. What is this idiot doing? This needs context badly because this looks goofy.
And also the Israeli occupying force in the West Bank. Doesn't matter if it's your favorite podcasters like Wife that participate in these raids. The violence that the Palestinians engage in an act of resistance against this illegal occupying force is literally legal, definitionally legal. Okay? It's just the truth. And
it's not. It's not the truth at all. I mean, it's just unbelievable. This guy is so absolutely insane. Half of your clips literally have the mouse cursor and progress bar popping up. Who cares? I don't care. Hamas Piker, FO comment, can't come see her soon enough. Why doesn't the ADL label Twitch a hate organization for repeatedly allowing Hasan to break TOS? Well, look, the ADL is not credible. They've never been credible. Unfortunately, they will literally... They think America first is an anti-Semitic comment. How full of yourselves do you have to be to exclude literally all the rest of the 208 countries, but think that somehow means Jews? That's insane. That is absolutely insane. So the ADL is completely and totally worthless and probably should be disbanded out of principle. It is unbelievable that they have literally labeled America First as anti-Jewish or anti-Semitic. It's like, okay, well, if it's anti-Semitic, it's also anti-Chinese, it's also anti-Japanese, it's also anti-Europe as a whole. It's anti-Russia, it's anti-Ukraine, it's anti-Croatia, it's anti-Italy, anti-South America, South Africa, North Africa, wherever the crap, it would be literally anti-everything not America. So to label it as anti-Semitic is actually just genuinely just stroking themselves as much as they can. It's unbelievable. So there is some, I would never trust the ADL. But the fact that the ADL actually won't even do it is concerning. Because they literally will label that as anti-Semitic, some huge, massive, overbearing thing that literally they would be less than 1% of. To say that would be anti-Semitic is psychotic. But somehow calling for the death of Jews is, just okay for the ADL. It's kind of wild, isn't it? Also a lie, by the way. Targeting civilians is always illegal under international law. Not that Hamas Piker ever cared about truth, for sure. How is this dude still on the internet? That is a great question. I imagine that there are some places that would allow him still. Like Blue Sky probably would always allow him. there is that. I swear he knows he can get away with it because Dan Clancy is too busy pinning for Extra Emily. Who's Extra Emily? To permaban him. Pining, I think is what he meant to say. Yeah, I think that does spell pining right, actually. Pinning would be 2 N's. To permaban him. He then needs to bring out the lawyers before Hila can't leave her house anymore. Well, it'd just be a shame if Hila couldn't leave her massive mansion, I guess. I don't know. I would stay there indefinitely, hardly ever leaving at all if I could live in the middle of the country with a nice house, there's that. And I would always have some sort of security if I could. But anyway, that's just me talking about a fantasy there of wanting to live out in the middle of the woods. In West Bank, for those who are ignoring the convoluting the clip. Oh, that's the context. In the only people in the West Bank. Well, what if the people in the West Bank came out of the West Bank to target a U.S. civilian because he doesn't care that it is your favorite podcaster's wife? There's that, right? In Minecraft, guys, okay. Oh, yes, don't forget to clip his plausible deniability edition. Exactly. It's BS because he is literally called to death for so many other people. Going to say that the United States deserved 9/11, to calling for the death of Trump, to calling for the death of, who is the senator? Scott Marsh? No, not Scott Marsh. What's his last name? Whoever his last name was, Scott whatever, that he was calling for. There's many, many other people. I bet I could just simply, type in, let's go to X and let's type in something like Hasan calls death. Okay, how about this? Dang it, Hasan. And then find media. Let's see what we can find here because I'm sure we can just find pretty much anything here. What's this clip?
Worst debate ever.
Let's see.
I'm going to be honest with you and not.
Well, that's not even any of the keywords that I put in at all. So let me just put for the death. Hasan calls for the death. What's this?
How we got to this point. But the issue was that
calling for a repeat of January 6th.
And all of us
I
say
don't
there's
care.
no place for
I
this.
liked
it. Has
I want more
massive
January
repercussions.
6s. It
This
was
idea that there's
funny.
censorship to stop.
Okay, that's just stupid. He's just being dumb.
I can't. It's so hard
Let's
for
see,
me.
where was it?
It's so hard for me
concept
to
of-
not use some of the previous tokens that I've collected because we unfortunately still don't live in a world where you have kill yourself tokens. Okay? Because if we did live in a world where you could get kill yourself tokens whenever someone sent one to you, I would be using so many.
Well, that's pretty extreme. But then also pulling out the GUN on stream too and threatening that user. I forgot about that one too. I'm sure that one could definitely pop up, but there's so many instances of him absolutely doing this. He even did this. That's right. I encourage people who get stuck behind the pro-Hamas mobs blocking traffic, take matters into your own hands and get them out of the way. Then he posted this on how for people to actually legitimately make their own pew-pew. That was crazy, He also had a terrorist on a stream, that's right, and actively called for the death of Jews, and since stuff like this it is just absolutely amazing how much death he openly calls for. On stream. It's insane. Let's go back a few and get to, obviously Hasan, Asmongold has reacted to it, I guess, a few minutes ago. Try to get that out there before he does, or else all those views will get sucked up. Destiny reacts to Hasan. I don't care about anything Destiny reacts to because he also calls for the death of others. I think this is totally hypocritical for Destiny to even open his mouth about this. Now, he brings up a good point about Turkey, which is still committing genocides, against the Kurds today. They also, obviously wiped out most of the Armenians. Kind of wild, right? Absolutely insane. So Hasan, where he is from Turkey, where all that took place. Hasan is a genocidal maniac. 100%. Destiny has no right to ever speak about it because he has openly called for the death of people that he opposes. Like the guy who he praised the assassin for getting that Trump supporter. And whenever he missed Trump, got Trump in the ear, but missed his target for sure. Got the other guy sitting in the stands, though. And Destiny praised him. Yeah, you have no legs to stand on, Destiny, at all. You are an absolute hypocrite. So anyway, Hasan explicitly says Hila Klein is a valid military target live on Twitch. That is absolutely wild. The fact that he has openly said that and that his fans will absolutely just lie. They should just come out and absolutely admit to what it is that they want to do. They should. They're unhinged completely. They're psychotic. Every one of his fans, if you are a Hasan fan today, I have no benefit of the doubt for you at all. I think you are a genuinely messed up person and you need to be locked up probably. You probably need to be locked up for your own good. I think you need to be going to an insane asylum. I don't mean locked up as in prison. I don't think you all have done anything wrong. I just think you're so mentally gone. You should seriously get some psych evaluation and have a nice padded room. Genuinely. Because you are a danger to many, many other people. If you're agreeing with what Hasan's saying about all of this violent rhetoric, Rick Scott, that's his name. Scott was his last name. I just beamed into my head. Rick Scott, that's who he was threatening. Said he was telling his audience to go end Rick Scott. How long are we going to deal with this for? How long? And how long until one of his psychotic fans actually goes through and attempts this? Absolutely unbelievable, guys. Of course, we're going to go ahead and read Ethan and Hila's responses before I close out here. So if I started saying as like, Hasan is a Hamas propagandist and therefore a legit military target, which he actually would be, right? By his own rules, by the United States' own rules, technically speaking, right? That would not be okay to say because Hasan's a U.S. citizen. Anyway, which I do not believe, which is good. Everyone is going to be okay with that. This is the 4th time a leftist Twitch streamer has explicitly called for me or Hila's death. Nobody has been reprehended for these death threats by Twitch, not once. For comparison on YouTube, Bad Empanada played an FPS game where you play as Hamas and end Israelis. He simulated murdering Hila in the game, and as a result caught a week-long suspension. He hasn't wished death on either of us or on YouTube again. Okay, let me reread that. Hasn't wished for death on either of us on YouTube since then, and he knows there are repercussions for making threats on YouTube. Twitch, however, is totally fine, of course. Is there another one here? Oh, this is about Sneeko. I don't care. Anyway, Hasan calls Hila a valid military target. Hasan Piker, who was exposed by my husband to be a disgusting creep, has retaliated by calling for violence against me. Think back and you'll notice a trend. When he wants to get at Ethan, he attacks me. This is just another glimpse into the psyche of a man that does not see women as his equal. He genuinely doesn't. And generally doesn't. Genuinely and generally. He uses women to whatever ends he needs to, be it revenge, that kind of gratification, or to massage his ego by exposing their, bodies without their consent to his boys. So that's their responses for now. And, if there's any crazy updates on this, I'll update you guys here later on. But this is just absolutely insane. And I think the FBI absolutely should be investigating him. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys here in the next one. Later.